on Netflix, we have a new documentary series called Being Gordon Ramsey. And here's a clip.
People think that they know Gordon.
Sadly, it's overcooked a touch. We've gone for the aesthetics over the quality, and we start taking some more risks.
He's someone who dreams big.
Mad.
But you know what? He's just Gordon to me. It's like 30 years since we got together. And
Sorry,
what
a little coffee shop there. Come back, hold that moment for one thought.
drives me mental.
We're so used to seeing Gordon Ramsay, aren't we? You know, from Kitchen Nightmares or whatever. He was kind of the original chef that just lost his mind at chefs and got angry. And was it passion or was it just complete inability to curb his language and stop being rude? I'm not sure we ever really found out. But he made his name really from that, didn't he? You know, he went into restaurants and tried to turn them around in a very brutal fashion at times. But the end scenes always seem to be with the restaurateurs, the owners, being quite happy with him. And now this is quite different. This is sort of Gordon grown up, I'm going to call it. It's just a bit of a different thing. He's still got the fire in his belly. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You can still see the Gordon Ramsay that we saw back in Kitchen Nightmares and Next Level Chef and all the rest of them. But this is a 6-part documentary series. And I guess it's the closest to a reality show that we've had to him, because although it's reality when he's been in kitchens, it's not been personal. It's not been about him. This is about him. This is his money, 20 million quid being put on the line, trying to create a new restaurant, the launching of a new restaurant venture. And it's 22 Bishopsgate. And for anyone that doesn't know, it's a top floor of one of London's highest skyscrapers. So absolutely incredible. And it follows him on this journey. Now, of course, starting up any business is high stakes, it's difficult, it's tricky, but in this you begin to see a bit of home life as well. You get to see him with his wife Tana, with the children, and you do see a sort of softer, gentler side. And actually I learned quite a lot about him. You know, the fact I don't think I realised, in fact no I didn't, that he'd come from nothing really, and he'd built this empire, and he lives in fear all the time that suddenly this will just all kind of erupt one day, go pop, and actually it's not going to be, he won't have that money anymore, he won't be able to have that lifestyle. And it's going through all that. I mean, I guess he's lucky to have that money in the first instance to do it, I suppose. You know, a lot of people will be borrowing money from the bank and what have you, but he has all of it's pinned on this. You know, if he loses this, he loses kind of everything. And having, I suppose, as the safety of a documentary is essentially what this is, isn't it? It's making it safer. It's following it. It's making column inches. You and I are talking about it now. That's the point. So it's a 9-month period. I think at times he forgets the cameras are there, which is what always happens in reality shows, which is very good viewing. And of course, he's been making a name recently for himself, hasn't he? Because he kind of waded into the Brooklyn Beckham feud saga by saying what he was saying whilst being interviewed for this. So again, some great column inches there. And you just see a really a 360-degree perspective of this very unedited Ramsey family. And I think it is relatively unedited, actually. I mean, it's not. It's edited, clearly. It's a show. It's a documentary. But it does feel really quite real. And I think that any opinions you might have had, the real him runs through it, but you do see a different side, and I found it really quite interesting. What did you think, Ian?
I did find it interesting, though it struck me as very much just an advert for his new venture, you know, because we see him going into this all being built. I did think, well, it's not the sort of restaurant I would like to go to at all, but I've seen the pictures of the finished products, and it just looked pretty good, actually. Anyway, the difficulty with Ramsey, I think, is because he spent so much time being, in quotes, himself in front of the camera, but it's really just a version of himself. Most of the time in this, he's performing in some way. Even with his family, he's always just sort of trying to get a reaction out of his relatives. That's the way he is. He's a million miles a minute. And he's always kind of prodding and poking people and, you know, being a bit silly or whatever. We're not really, well, I only watched one episode, but we're not really seeing the sort of angry man version of him. I do like watching cookery shows, but I would never want to be a chef because it's such a stressful job, and it's, as you say, it's very precarious, and most new restaurants fail, and even, Jamie Oliver got his fingers burnt, didn't he, launching a restaurant chain. And yes, we do learn a bit more about his sort of background and about his dad, and had a terrible relationship with his dad. And you just wonder what drives these people who are real perfectionists and for whom no amount of success is enough. And Gordon is one of those. So there's a rather touching scene where his daughter goes to get her chef whites because she wants to become a chef as well. And that's where I feel the persona dropped, and it did feel quite real. And yeah, I think he's got 4 grown-up kids, and then he's got 2 very young kids, isn't he? Like he became a dad again at 57, so a big gap there, but it is with the same partner. So that's quite full on for him. But yeah, I do kind of like Gordon. I've watched so many of his TV shows. I mean, I must admit, Kitchen Nightmares became very formulaic. Like no matter what restaurant he was in, it was the same story arc, But I enjoy his TV. I quite liked getting to find out a bit more about him. But yeah, it did just seem like a great big advert for his posh. It's not just one restaurant, is it? It's a number of restaurants at the top of this building. So, but yeah, I think it's worth a watch.